Hello and welcome to News Now. Pakistani child activist Malala Yousafzai has emerged joint winner of the 2014 Nobel Peace Prize. The 17-year-old was awarded the prestigious Peace Prize alongside Kailash Satyarthi of India on Friday by the Nobel Prize Committee. The Norwegian Nobel Committee cited the two for their struggle against the suppression of children and young people and for the right of all children to education. Malala gained global recognition after she was shot in the head by a Taliban gunman in Pakistan 2 years ago because of her campaign for girls' education. She was 15 at the time of the shooting. At 17, Malala, who now lives in the United Kingdom, is the youngest recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. This year's record number of 278 nominees included Pope Francis and Congolese gynecologist Denis Mukwege, although the full list was kept a secret. Tom John Jagland, chairman of the Nobel Committee, paid tribute to Malala's achievements, including fighting for the right to girl-child education, irrespective of her age. In July, following the aftermath of the kidnap of over 200 girls by members of the Boko Haram sect in Chibok, Malala came to Nigeria and met with President Goodluck Jonathan in a bid to press for more action to free the schoolgirls abducted in April 14th. She also urged President Jonathan to meet with families of the kidnapped girls months after the abduction of the girls. Jonathan had faced intense backlash over his decision not to visit Chibok community in the aftermath of the attack in the region. Now take a listen to what Malala said during that visit to Nigeria.
I tried my best and I asked the president to do what he should do and what is his responsibility. But as an activist and working for girls' rights, for girls' education, for equality and for the education of every child, I considered my responsibility as well to do my best. And as we have set up the Malala Fund, through the Malala Fund, we have raised $200,000 and we want to contribute to those children's education who are now out of school. We also want to help those girls who escape from their abduction. They need our support right now at this moment. So we have started working with two organizations here in Nigeria, and I'm hopeful that we will be able to help girls to continue their education, to get quality education, to get all the facilities they need, to get healthcare and as well as other facilities.
Now, Malala and Satyarthi will now be invited to attend an award ceremony in Oslo in December to receive a medal and $1.4 million in prize money. We say congratulations to both of them. Now, it's not just Malala who has been winning awards today. Nigeria's Minister of Finance, Dr. OKONJO-IWEALA, has also had another feather added to her cap. OKONJO-IWEALA, who doubles as the country's coordinating Minister of the Economy, has been named the 2014 African Finance Minister of the Year for outstanding performance. She was announced winner by leading investment and international group African Investor on the sideline of the ongoing annual meetings of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund IMF in Washington, D.C. She beat out finance ministers from Kenya, Angola, Rwanda, Liberia, Seychelles, Zambia and the Kingdom of Morocco to emerge winner. In her acceptance speech, she called on all investors in Africa to join in the growth and development of the continent. She also said in spite of the challenges facing the continent, African leaders should sustain the successes recorded in the past. These challenges, she said, include infrastructure, governance, poor education system, employment, corruption, among others. Well, we say big congratulations to her. No doubt a very hard-working woman. Now, despite the directive by the National Judicial Commission in Nigeria that all courts in Ekiti State, southwest of Nigeria, resume on Wednesday, courts in that southwestern state still remain shut. There are reports that the courts may continue to remain closed until the inauguration of the state governor-elect, Ayodele Fayose, October 16th. Courts in Ekiti were shut down last month following the invasion of the premises of the headquarters of the state judiciary by thugs allegedly loyal to Mr. Fayose, who was the candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the last governorship election in the state. Security agents comprising soldiers, police and Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps had since Tuesday taken over the premises of the Ado-Ekiti High Court. No official reason has been given for the deployment. Meanwhile, the Ekiti State chapter of the Nigerian Labour Congress has dispelled reports that the courts were sealed off on the order of President Goodluck Jonathan. The union said the courts remained sealed because of the ongoing strike embarked upon by workers in the state to demand payment of outstanding salary arrears and allowances. In a statement issued Friday in Ado-Ekiti, NLC State Secretary Comrade Ade Obatoye cautioned against reading political meanings to the closure. The union said the industrial action by workers in the state also affected the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, which is said accounted for the closure of courts. Besides, the union argued that the Chief Judge of the state, Justice Ayodele Daramola, had yet to reverse the order to close all the courts in the state. Now, more reactions have continued to trail the controversy surrounding what is now dubbed as the $9.3 million cash for arms deal, which is threatening to strain relations between Nigeria and South Africa. South African authorities had impounded $9.3 million in cash, which was stocked on a private plane from Nigeria, saying the huge amount could be a product of money laundering. 2 Nigerians and an Israeli national accompanying the money were later detained, but the Nigerian government has since claimed ownership of the money, saying it was to be used for arms purchase to fight Boko Haram. Both sides are still sparring over the money, and back here in Nigeria, the issue is generating a lot of debate. Take a listen to what 2 lawyers on our current news and current affairs program, TV360, said when I asked for their take on the issue.
When a country that is espousing the reasonableness of cashless economy is now carrying cash, 9.3 is a lot of money.
It is.
To South Africa to say that it wants to buy arms, why would there be a suspicion that that money is a subject of money laundering? And so what the South Africans did basically is that they followed their own rule of law. There was suspicion, they went to court to obtain an order. This is very significant. They just didn't seize the money, obtain an order for a temporary asset forfeiture. And they then started investigating. If at the end of the investigation they discover that this money is proceeds of crime, of course they will confiscate the money, fully. So what the Nigerian government should do, instead of staying in Nigeria and grandstanding and threatening MTN and threatening DSTV, it's even silly, is to raise a legal team and a diplomatic team, perhaps led by Dazuku's claim that he was the one who authorized it, and then go to South Africa. This is legit. This is properly done and all that. Yes, in our country, or the international law, is plausible or reasonable to carry tons of cash on your head to say that you want to go and do transactions in another foreign country. Go there and explain this to South Africans. Exactly. And South Africa will listen.
I've listened to arguments from those in government that yes, if you are frustrated from buying arms, through the legal market, you can buy through the black market. But nobody is saying don't buy through the black market. But the mode of buying arms through the black market is another thing altogether. So for me, basically, the $9.3 million, I think somebody was trying to launder money for somebody, and it's a deal that went bad, and that's why it is impossible for us now to raise a legal team or raise a diplomatic team to go face South Africa. And so it's the best we could do here is to make noise and grandstand and say all sorts. Even the South African ambassador to Nigeria, as at yesterday, said he had not even been invited by the Nigerian government over this issue, and that's quite surprising because you would expect that the government would have summoned. Exactly. So he said, as at yesterday, said that he's not been invited. So which means that government is not even ready to sit down to begin explaining its own angle in the matter.
Now, I also asked the lawyers for their take on the arrest of a journalist for describing a senior police officer as, quote, controversial. Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 7, Abuja, Joseph Mbu, had ordered the arrest of AIT reporter Anekwe for calling him controversial on his TV program. AIG Mbu did not only arrest and detain the journalist, he charged him to court as well. He later withdrew the suit and ordered that the journalist be brought to him. It's a very bizarre case that attracted calls for the removal of the police officer. Take a listen to the lawyers.
I'm ashamed of his 2-1. I must say, because if you made a 2-1 in the university as far back as 1983, you should know the meaning of controversial. And you should know also when people say you are controversial. For wherever you had gone, where in all the states you had served, there is always one story about you or the other. And so,
well, he says it transforms a policeman wherever he goes.
Glaringly, that's his account. It's to me, it's self-egoistic. Beat your drum. But how we view you is a different thing altogether. And so glaringly, the man is controversial. And so for somebody to simply refer to you as a controversial person, to me, it's not an insult. And so if you think it's an insult, I think then somebody should re-examine your certificate.
For me, somebody like that ought not to be in the police force. He may regard himself as the pride of the police force, but what kind of pride is who will take on the governor in the public spot? When we're talking about subordinating our military and security forces to civil authority, a governor is part of that civil authority. And I'm telling you, even for that act alone, Ngu ought to have been queried by the Police Service Commission and disciplined. The fact that you have somebody like that not being disciplined and is not even going ahead to arrest a journalist, to settle a personal score. He's not arresting a journalist because the journalist has committed an offense, but because he, the king or emperor, has been abused. So I think that somebody like that in a decent society will have no business being in a police institution. I think that the journalist and his organization and his union, and I'm talking about the NUJ, should not allow this matter to lie low. They should go to court and sue that police officer to get redress, to enforce, because the deed has been done. So when something like this happens and then is superseded by more horrible acts from officialdom, we just tend to forget. I think that a lesson ought to be taught and a lesson has to be learned. And that lesson can be learned by taking this man to court, sue him for damages for what is done.
Take a short break now. When we come back, more stories. Don't go away.
The search for the next Nigerian Investigative Reporter of the Year is on. The Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, WSCIJ, requests entries for the 9th Wole Soyinka Award for Investigative Reporting from Nigerian professional reporters with investigative reports published between 4th October 2013 and 3rd October 2014. Categories: print, radio, online, local government, sports, television, photography, climate change, cartoon, health, and report women. Do you fit the bill? Submit your entries by the deadline Friday, 24th October 2014 at the WSCIJ office, 55 Awolowo Way, Ikeja, Lagos. Visit www.wscij.org or call 080-2439-5083 for more details. Investigative reporting is the vital force for the restoration of human dignity.
Welcome back. The police in Edo State, south of Nigeria, have arraigned the majority leader of the Edo State House of Assembly, Philip Shaibu, another lawmaker, Sunday Agedo, and 3 others before an Oredo magistrate court in Benin over an alleged attack on a member of the State Assembly, Abdul Razak Momo, at the legislative quarters. Tuesday night, Momo was attacked by suspected thugs and allegedly beaten to a coma before he was rushed to the University of Benin Teaching Hospital. Shaibu and Agedo, representing Esako West 2nd and Ovie Southwest constituencies, and the other defendants were arraigned on 2 counts of felony and assault. The Nigerian Army has revealed that more than 1,300 Nigerian peacekeeping troops have been quarantined in Liberia after coming in contact with a Sudanese man who later died of the disease. Director of the Army Medical Corps, Major General Obashino Ogumbi, stated this in Abuja on Thursday, raising concerns over the safety of troops in countries badly affected by Ebola. According to the Army medical officer, the incident followed the death of a Sudanese Muslim man who had come to the camp of the soldiers to lead them in prayer during the Eid al-Fitr celebration, but developed Ebola symptoms the following day and later died. Ogunbiyi noted that the country remained at risk as any of the soldiers could choose to travel home anytime. His statement comes as Nigeria's Minister of Health says 591 healthcare workers have volunteered to be sent to Liberia, Sierra Leone and Guinea as part of a global response team on Ebola. Nigeria, which has had 7 confirmed deaths from the Ebola virus, has already been declared Ebola-free by the World Health Organization after no new cases or deaths were recorded in weeks. More than 4,000 people have now died from the Ebola virus. That's according to the latest figures released by the World Health Organization. The World Health body says there have been 8,376 cases and 4,024 deaths in the worst affected West African nations of Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone. The news comes as Liberian MPs refused to grant the president additional powers to deal with the Ebola crisis. President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has already declared a state of emergency that allows her to impose quarantines. The total death toll of 4,033 includes the death of a Liberian man in the United States this week and the 8 people who died in Nigeria, where the virus has now been contained. The WHO says more than 233 health workers working in West Africa have now died in the outbreak, the world's deadliest to date. Now, the WHO has also warned that Ebola is now entrenched in the capital cities of all 3 worst affected countries and is accelerating in almost all settings. Bruce Iwald, who is the deputy head of the WHO, says the world's response was not keeping up with the disease in Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone. The 3 countries have appealed for more aid to help fight the disease. Meanwhile, in Spain, 7 more people have been monitored in hospital for Ebola. They include 2 hairdressers who came in contact with Teresa Romero, a Madrid nurse who looked after an Ebola patient who had been repatriated from Liberia. Hospital officials say Romero is now very ill and is at serious risk of dying. Quite sad. As part of efforts to ensure food security, the Lagos state government says its target was to meet 25% of food production in the state by 2018. This came as the government concluded plans to construct a metropolitan park at Ajetutun in Ibejuleki local government area of the state. Commissioner for Agriculture and Cooperatives Bolahon Lawal, while briefing newsmen on the activities slated for this year's World Food Day at Alausa Ikeja, said the decision to set the 25% target was to ensure that the state's teeming population does not at any time experience food scarcity. He said apart from the acquisition of land from Osun, Oyo and Ogun states, as well as the Federal Capital Territory Abuja for farming purposes, the state was also embarking on several programs and projects targeted at boosting food production. And to sports, contrary to reports making the rounds that Nigerian striker Uche has denied comments of the Super Eagles head coach, Stephen Keshi, that he refused to honor a call-up to the national team. Keshi had earlier this week said Uche was contacted by the secretary of the Super Eagles, Dayo Enebi, to know if he had a South African visa ahead of the match against Bafana. The Nigerian manager also said he had included Uche in the team for the AFCON matches against Congo and South Africa, but removed it following what he claimed was a poor response from the Villarreal striker to the Super Eagles secretary. But Uche has now responded, saying he never spoke to the Nigerian team secretary about any South African visa. Explaining via social media, he told his thousands of fans that he wants the Nigerian squad to focus on the game against Sudan and not be distracted, adding that he wished the team all the best in the Nations Cup qualifiers. FIFA President Sepp Blatter has called for an end to the away goals winner rule in clashes with 2 matches. Blatter said the away goals rule should be revised as home advantage is less important in the modern game. According to him, the rule favors clubs who play away in the second leg because extra time can give an extra opportunity to get a goal with double value. Away goals are notably used in the Champions League knockout stages and other European club competitions, where it was introduced in 1965, where two sides are level after two legs. The team which has scored more goals away from home go through. Use of the rule was under discussion at a meeting of Europe's top coaches in Nyon in September. Former Manchester United manager Sir Alex Ferguson chaired the meeting and said that better pitches meant away teams could counter-attack more effectively, increasing the possibility of scoring away from home. Well, we'll wait and see what FIFA does with the away goals rule. I actually don't like it too. I just think it's not fair. That's it on News Now. We thank you very much for watching. We're back again later.